I'm making this video for anybody that feels like they're currently at their breaking point. And I mean breaking. If you're currently going through something like this that's making you feel this way, I get it. In my own ways, I've been going through my own struggles like this too. And I almost didn't make this video today, but then I got up and I hit record and I felt like this was probably one of the most appropriate times to go ahead and make this video instead, because it's real, it's raw, it's unfiltered, and hopefully there's at least one of you out there that if you are struggling, you feel like you're at this breaking point, I'm able to get through and at least give you some type of message to not magically just take away all your struggles so that you wake up tomorrow and everything's fine. But my goal is to give you a perspective of hope and something that you can look forward to instead of just sitting in whatever the stink or whatever the thing is you're dealing with right now. So I'm not going to edit this video that much. It's going to be pretty straightforward. And I just kind of want to go ahead and talk for a few minutes if you'll go ahead and give me that time. So I want to talk about the things that kind of make us feel like we get to our breaking point, right? Depending on the person or who you are, this can be really anything, right? It could be a relationship. It could be your finances. It could be your job. It could be your health. It could be your family. It could be anything, right? Or any combination of a lot of these things too. I think a lot of us, when we get to the point when we feel like we're at our breaking point, it's never just really one thing. It's usually when everything piles on top of us simultaneously. Now, if we were to extrapolate all this out and look at it, I feel like most issues, when you look at them one by one, they may be daunting, they may be tough to deal with, but you could usually find a way if you're kind of focused on one thing you have to deal with. The problem is when you have one problem and then something else happens, and you got two problems, then something else happens, now you got three problems, and something else happens, now you got four, and you're like, I can't even focus on all these. We start to try to go about taking care of these problems and the things in our lives very ineffectively. And before you know it, we're not focusing on one thing. We're focusing on four or more, whatever it may be, and we're doing everything ineffectively. And it feels like we're kind of spinning our wheels. We're not getting anywhere. And this then becomes discouraging on top of the problems that are already existing out there. Before you know it, you feel stuck. And it's like, what do I do now? So the issue I see with a lot of this stuff is not that we have problems that are insolvable, that you can't ever get past. It's that you get into this kind of rut where you get stuck where things happen and then you don't know how to deal with these things. And then to take it a step further, we don't say anything to anybody, right? Like how many times have you walked by somebody in your life or been at work, been around your friends or something, and you're fighting some type of silent battle, maybe like you are right now, and you don't tell anybody. You put on a smile, you act like everything's fine, and you go about your day. And then you go home and that's when the reality of everything hits you. So we go in a cycle like this, it may feel like you're showing strength, like you're not showing people your cards and what's going on. But in reality, you're just kind of taking all this pressure and putting it upon yourself. And you're getting stuck and you're wondering why you can't fix it. It's because we're only human at the end of the day. You can only do so much. And even the strongest of all of us need some help sometimes. Even the strongest of all of us need to tell somebody what's going on or just need a little bit of a different perspective as to how to go about addressing our issues too. See, a lot of times I think in today's society, especially for men, we're told that strength is keeping it together, putting a smile on, showing up, don't complain, just keep going, and eventually it gets better. And I think in some forms, for some people, this can work, but it doesn't work for a lot of people, right? It doesn't work for me. I was always told this when I was growing up. I was told that stop being so sensitive, stop thinking so much, don't be so emotional, don't let this stuff get to you, man up, be tough, don't complain, all these things, right? That never worked for me. And it still doesn't work for me today. I don't think this works for a lot of people. The only problem is that the general narrative says that you should, so we don't say anything. We just get quiet. We fight these silent battles. To me, it's never been looked at as strength when I see people that struggle and they keep it all to themselves and they smile through all the pain. To me, strength is not quitting. And no, I don't mean not quitting as in, run yourself to the end of the earth and exhaust everything that you have within you and keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't quit no matter what. That's not what I'm saying. To me, not quitting means something a lot more simple. If you're struggling with something that's going on in your life, sometimes not quitting means being nice to yourself and doing a little bit of self-care that night. You know what? You don't need to go conquer the world and figure everything out in one night. It's probably not possible if you're currently at your breaking point. So why don't you do something simple like go make a bath and go sit in there and just relax for a night. So that way, when you wake up tomorrow, you have much more of a clear head, right? If your finances are out of check, and if you're struggling, and if you can't pay your bills or do anything, no matter thinking or beating yourself up about it or reflecting on the situation that got you there is going to just put money into your pocket magically overnight. So instead, why don't you do something like the way I look at not quitting in that scenario is like, hey, take a piece of paper out and write down your bills. I'm not saying write down how to pay for them or how to figure that all out, but write down the bills and write down whatever presumably came into your life that kind of threw your finances off or something too. If your health isn't doing good, okay, are you going to fix your health overnight? No. Think about one thing you can do that's nice for yourself, right? How about tomorrow you wake up and you have a good breakfast? One thing, and then go from there. See, the point is that not quitting to me means that you just do one simple thing to get you closer to where you want to be, not where you don't want to be. For too long in my life, I have looked at things through a negative lens, meaning that instead of telling myself where I want to be, I tell myself where I don't want to be. And I know people out there will tell you that that's helpful in some ways, but if you do that too often, you're focused on only the negatives of what you don't want. You're not looking at the possibilities. And I'm more big into possibility thinking and seeing what you actually want to do and how to get there rather than what it is that you don't want to be. When we get to our breaking point, it's so hard to think. It's so hard to clearly look at the situation and come up with ways to get out of there, right? And like I said before, even the strongest of us, we struggle. And no matter how proficient, no matter how experienced or how much stuff you've been through before in your life, everybody eventually hits something in which you don't know how to address, you don't know what to do with there. And that's okay. The fact that you're watching something like this tells me something really important, and it tells me that you haven't given up yet, and that there's a part in you that doesn't want to give up. It doesn't matter if you're sitting home crying. It doesn't matter if you feel like you have no idea what to do next. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're completely alone, everyone's abandoned you. There's some part of you that's still fighting, and you care enough to want to show up to something like this too. I'm going to give a brief example just to let you know kind of in general what's going on in my life here. A couple of months ago, I left my job, and I'm pretty good with savings and such too. But I've had some bumps along the way. So that caused me to eat into my savings a little quicker. And then I started using my credit cards and such when I didn't want to. All that was fine, but then looking for another job is difficult. If you're looking for another job, and this is one of the things that has your breaking point, you know how hard it is to find a job no matter what your experience is, right? I just a couple of weeks ago came to terms with a long-term relationship that ended, and mentally I'm processing that, right? And not only that, a lot of the reasons why it ended was my fault. So having to accept responsibility for that, move forward and accept that is not easy. Family stuff's going on, everything else, but what really got me and what put me at my breaking point was about a week ago. So I'm kind of slouched over right now. My energy's kind of shot. And the reason is I had surgery. I was not feeling good about a week ago today. Thought I was really dehydrated, couldn't keep liquids down. Something just felt off. It got bad enough to the point, and the pain caught up, where I felt like I needed to go to the emergency room. Now, like I mentioned, I have been out of a job, so I don't have insurance. So for me to go to the emergency room, it was an emergency, and I felt like something was wrong. I went in there thinking I'm just severely dehydrated. It's going to be expensive, but you know what? They're just going to put an IV in me. It'll be okay. And I'll be out of here in a couple hours. I'll pay the bill, and then I'll move forward. Instead, when I was there, I had to get a CAT scan. And when it came back, they told me that I had appendicitis. And I was also severely dehydrated. So I then had to go to another hospital and prep for surgery the next day. And, before I knew it, I blinked my eyes and I'd have been off an operating table. And then you have that reality to face too. Here recently, I just got the overall bill for everything. And without financial aid and everything else and such included, that was almost $30,000. So I'm telling you all this not to just put all my business out there and everything out for the internet to sit and judge me on. But what I'm telling you is that in one moment, you can be in an okay position. And then next thing you know, one thing happens and you're like, okay, I can handle this. I'll move forward. And then something else happens. And you're like, okay, I'll process this. I will own this and I'll move forward. But before you know it, it's like the things keep blindsiding you and they keep piling on. And before you know it, you can be in a position where you're like, I don't know what to do. You start beating yourself up about it. You get negative. You can really get into a dark place that is not productive at all. And historically, this is how I have been. In the recent years of my life, I've tried to understand that, yes, life can be hard, and it always is hard, whether you try to avoid that or not. However, when you get into these positions, I would tell you that it is going to be okay. The real difficult thing is to see that in the moment. And even in my situation right now, I'm not pretending to have all the answers. I'm still going through it just like I imagine that you are too. The only difference is at this point in my life, I know that it will be okay. And it goes back to that same concept I said before of not quitting. Am I going to sit here and figure out how to pay all those medical bills? Am I going to salvage my relationship or get into another one tonight? Am I going to find another job by tomorrow? Most likely not. So instead of sitting there and thinking about the stuff that probably won't happen, beat myself up about it, and think about what was and what I should have done, I can do the next thing, which is moving forward. And that starts by not quitting on yourself. So it doesn't matter what you're dealing with right now. It doesn't matter if it's medical. It doesn't matter if it's financial. It doesn't matter if it's your job. It doesn't matter what it is. I just challenge you tonight to pick one thing, one simple thing, and do it. So if that's self-care, put a movie on, kick back for a little bit, and just relax. So that way you can wake up tomorrow, you can do one more thing that's productive for yourself. If your health's not going good, order yourself a little meal, something cheap, something nice and healthy, get a nice little salad. Make sure you feel good. So you wake up tomorrow, you feel better. If it's a relationship, something you messed up or not, or if the love of your life left you, that's horrible. And I know how hard that is. But be kind to yourself tonight. And you know what? Take your phone out and write out the things that you did well in the relationship. Because no matter what, a relationship is a two-way street. And no matter how good or bad, or if you're at fault or not, everybody does some good and everybody does some bad. So write out the good things you did, right? Because that way, whenever you beat yourself up about it, you can look at these things. You say, you know what? I brought love, I brought laughter, and I brought accountability of some kind to this relationship. And if I did it here instinctually, I'm going to bring these three things into my next relationship too. The whole point is not quitting looks like so many different ways, right? But I think we can get overwhelmed because we try to take on too much of a solution to try and combat too much of the problem. We're only human at the end of the day, and you can only do so much. So be kind to yourself and look at what it is that you can do that's a light lift today. And then tomorrow, do another light lift. And before you know it, you're going to get to a place where you're not just doing light lifts. You're doing a little bit more medium lifts and you get to large lifts. But you can't just go from being distraught and at a breaking point all the way to doing these big lifts in your life and making things happen just magically overnight. People will tell you you can do this, but I try to be more realistic with expectations. And if you're at a point where you feel like everything's falling apart, it's hard to demand the world of yourself. So be kind, don't quit, and know that better days are coming tomorrow. I know that if you're watching a video like this and you've taken the time to do this, you haven't given up on yourself. And the reason I'm making this video while I'm still feeling this pain and everything from surgery and such is because I haven't given up on you either. I hope this helped. Keep your head up and just know that better days are coming tomorrow. I'm see you on the next one. Take care for now. Peace.